Okay, today I want to talk about Social Security and its supposed insolvency. We're going to deal with that, but before I do, I want to read a really nice email that I received just the other day. It says, Mike, I found MMT earlier this year, and I'm so glad I did. I was one of those Peter Schiff, sorry, Freudian slip there, minions for a long time. Thank God people can change. Now I live for your YouTube videos, media appearances, blog posts, and articles you put out. Keep it up. Don't stop. I use a lot of your stuff to educate my friends and family. Unfortunately, my conservative family continues to believe that our country is going bankrupt, probably because that's what Glenn Beck said. My friends are starting to see the light, though. The drop in interest rates that coincided with the downgrade earlier this year was a big eye-opener for them. I know it's frustrating to push a view that's obviously correct, but have practically the entire world immediately reject it without giving it any thought. But I doubt you'll have to put up with this absurd situation much longer. MMT is schooling the economics world one hack at a time. Signed by Chris. Chris, I want to thank you for that nice email. And I hope you're right, and I think he is right. We're starting to see more converts come over to MMT because really it's the only school of economic thought that correctly understands the situation that we're in, the economy, the monetary system, and people are starting to see that. So thanks for Chris, and it's always great to get those emails. Now I want to talk about Social Security because we always hear that Social Security is broke, it's insolvent, it's going to run out of money. And I'm saying that's sheer nonsense. It's in fact impossible. The United States, as a sovereign currency issuing nation, we create dollars. The government is the creator of the US dollar, can create any amount of dollars that it wants. And in fact, Alan Greenspan, while he was still Fed chairman back in 2005 during a congressional testimony, when asked about the solvency of entitlements like Social Security, he said that the United States government can create any amount of dollars that it wants and pay it to whomever it wants. The only issue really is whether or not we have that spending results in a sufficient quantity of the real assets that we're going to need. And what did he mean by that? The real assets are food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and anything else that's going to be required by seniors, retirees, to sustain their lives in their retirement period. So as long as you have enough of the real stuff to take care of people, the paying for it part is simple. It's a matter of the government issuing checks. And as long as the supply or the quantity of real goods and services increases in tandem with the amount of checks that are being sent out, there's no inflationary risk whatsoever. And in the case where, let's say, the government spends more than the amount of goods and services being produced, then yes, you have an inflation problem. And that's the real risk of Social Security and other entitlement programs. Not that it will go bankrupt, but whether or not that spending to provide those goods and services results in an inflation. But it's never spoken about in that regard. It's always said to be broke, and that is wrong. It is impossible for Social Security to go broke. The only risk for Social Security, or any entitlement for that matter, is an inflation risk, and nobody out there, nobody, not Pete Peterson, not David Walker, not Simpson Bowles, nobody has ever discussed whether or not, or the Congressional Budget Office for that matter, nobody has ever discussed whether or not the spending at some point down the road in the future to provide goods and services to seniors, that will become inflationary. And if so, it's a very simple matter to address that. The government can raise taxes to reduce demand, and the inflation is dealt with. All we ever hear about is that Social Security is broke, it's bankrupt, and it is impossible. It can never happen. The other thing is that eventually all the baby boomers die off, and that bulge, which was a population bulge at the time, that goes away and you revert back to normal. So the idea that Social Security or other entitlements is broke or insolvent is complete and utter nonsense. This is Mike Norman. See you here next time. Bye bye. Keep those emails coming. Thanks a lot. Bye.